Okay, you guys, I freaking figured out how to make the Versace V-bow heels. You don't believe me. You don't believe me. You need proof. I get it. You're skeptical. Maybe we don't have trust yet. That's fine. I'll give you proof. Oh, I'll give you proof. I wasn't lying. I figured it out. Hey you guys, welcome to the DIY Designer. I'm so glad that you found me and that you found this particular video because it is fantastic. For all of you that are new, my name is Orly and this is my YouTube channel. Welcome to the DIY Designer. I do great DIY fashion and home decor. Every week I release a new video and today's has been on my DIY list forever. These Versace V-bow heels are so cool. And actually one of you guys reminded me, I read all your comments. And so in the comments, someone included the link and was like, can you figure this out? So I'm really stoked. That's what we're gonna make today. So this is about converting a pair of sling back pumps into the V-bow heels. We're obviously not making the full shoe from scratch. This is converting a heel. And then what I would recommend doing is going to your local fabric store, trim store, bead store, and look for pendants for a necklace or brooches or buttons. That's how you're gonna be able to create each of the matching elements. And that's really it. Now I need your guys' advice real quick because I'm working on a video that's kind of like a mini living room makeover video. I don't know if you noticed this new piece of furniture I have in the back. I DIY'd it. And I'm gonna share how I DIY'd it. And I'm trying to figure out how I can actually make it fit with the rest of my house because it's a little bit more of like a mid-century modern design. So I popped onto Skillshare to see if they had maybe like a design course on specifically mid-century modern design. And of course they did. So you guys know that Skillshare is one of my most consistent supporters. I love them so much. And what I did is I took a course on mid-century modern design. By doing that course, I learned that some of the elements of mid-century modern design are wood on wood on wood. So all those natural wood tones, which are great. Another one is like the peg legs. So the furniture that's sort of raised off the floor and has those tiny little peg legs, that's another element. Lucite is another element. Brass is another element. Now, I obviously have a lot of these elements throughout my house already. So it's just a matter of bringing in a few more of them so that this all starts to feel really cohesive. So it was a really fun course to just like give myself a game plan. That way when I'm thrifting or I'm at stores, I kind of know what I'm looking for. I film and edit all my own videos. I took an entire Final Cut course on color editing. So I could create like different moods and vibes with all of the color editing. And that's a cool option because I know how to edit, but this is one element of editing I don't know much about. So I'm able to deepen a skill I already know and become even more of an expert on it. So that's why I really recommend Skillshare. And the first 1,000 of you to click the link will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. Take advantage of this, you guys. Click the link below, pause this video, sign up for it and come right back. And if you don't get it, if the 1,000 are already taken up, it's under $10 a month for all of the courses. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I can't wait to share how I end up doing this sort of mini living room makeover. Okay, let's get into this one because it's such a great DIY and I can't wait for you guys to do it. First thing you're gonna do is start to take some measurements so you can create your actual like cage effect. What I'm doing is measuring how high I want that sort of center spine one, giving about an inch to go inside the shoe. That gave me about a 12-inch height, although I do adjust it slightly later. I pulled up the image on my phone so that I could kind of remember where each particular element of the cage is. The second one was here, right across the lower part of my foot, and that gave me 11 inches. There was another one right at the back of the heel going up over the top of my foot as well, and that was 12. Basically, I just kept doing that going all the way up, and then I cut all of my elastic and cut 2 pieces of each because obviously we have 2 shoes. Now you want to take all the elements that you bought and start creating your design. Figure out what looks best to you. The actual Versace pair has 4. You could do as many as you want, but 4 is a really nice number. Now depending on what you found, there might be elements that need to be cut. Like right there, that little cage, those 2 pieces actually hook together. So if I want to use them, I will need to use something strong like pliers to cut them. Now, this part is sort of like not a mistake I made, but unnecessary. Do you see that very top piece, the very, very top one at the calf? That's what this is here. Originally, I thought that I needed to create a little loop so that I could run the piece through it, but that was entirely unnecessary. You can just lay them down, like lay one on top of the other and tack it in place, either with a needle and thread or with your sewing machine or with glue. Although if you know how to hand sew, I would just go ahead and sew this. Now here's that little mini buckle. The great thing about using these buckles is that it's gonna make the shoes much more like adjustable and versatile. Once you actually attach the buckle, you're gonna loop it through just like that and then sew right there. That is going to attach the buckle to one side and you'll be able to actually push it through the elastic. I tested it out, it works perfectly. You don't need to create a hole or anything like that. Now I'm attaching the spine, right, that main piece into my shoe. That's the very first thing that you want to do. So about 1 inch of elastic with a good amount of glue, either Fabri-Tac or E6000, put it inside the underneath part of the shoe and just take your time to make sure that it feels centered in the shoe and that it's angled straight up. Once you have it in the right place, put a little clip to hold it in place so it has plenty of time to dry. Now, we are going to start creating the next section. You can see the next one goes right over the bottom part of the foot and will have your larger circular button. So what I decided to do was actually just close it off. Right now it's just pinned. I pulled it up over my shoe and I'm just putting on the shoe so I can figure out exactly where I want it. Not only in the front, but also in the back. Once I figure out where it needs to be in the back in order to line up right in the front, I'm gonna attach it. Now, again, E6000 or Fabri-Tac will probably work for this, whatever your glue of choice is. You're gonna lay one piece down, wrap it all the way around, making sure that it's straight and not twisted, and then connect them. Now, I've got both center front pieces. So we've got the spine, the center front piece, and we already have that one at the very top. Now I need to evenly distribute. Do you see how on this one, in between the second and the third, there's a V? See that sort of V? That's what I'm creating right now. So I took 2 pieces of my elastic and I literally just like put them in a V and pinned them to the spine. Right about evenly spaced so that I have all 4 of mine evenly spaced, and you can always adjust that if need be. But this is where I'm at. You can see the caged effect is legit. It's absolutely working. This is the time when you're gonna tweak. So you can see I've got one piece going over the bottom of my foot and I've got the next one going over the top of my foot. Both of those are anchored underneath my heel. Now I've got my V, which is gonna come up over my ankle, and it's actually gonna have a buckle and connect in the back. So see that piece? It's gonna connect right there in the back of my heel, or yeah, ankle. Now the next one is gonna go right in between my ankle and my calf. So it's about evenly distributing. I realized that I made my center spine a little too large, so you can see I'm kind of folding it to visualize how I could make them more evenly spaced. I realized that I did need to adjust it slightly, and once I did that, the cage is good and I'm actually ready to start applying all of my little embellishments and details. So here I am, I'm just attaching that next one, right? So we had the one going over the bottom of the foot and the one going over the top of the foot, and those 2 are anchored in the back. So I glued that one. Now, this is all just pinned, so I'm gonna sew it. I'm using my sewing machine, but a needle and thread is absolutely fine. Once I sew down the V, I'm gonna also put in my little buckles. So remember, what you wanna do is sort of pin the buckle in and like pantomime how it's actually going to be buckled around your ankle so you can make sure that you did it the right way. Sometimes you think you're doing the buckle the right way, and then once you put it on, you're like, dang it, it's backwards. So just pantomime it so you know. I sewed everything together, literally quick little tacks is all you need, and now it's time to add on all my details. So I'm starting off with the large button on the bottom. Now, this is the kind of button that has that little toggle. So I need to not only tack down the toggle, but I need to go through and tack down the rest of the button so that it doesn't like wobble and dangle on me. This particular button has all these holes because it's kind of like this open crystal button. So all I'm doing is going in and out, in and out. Once I'm done, I'm gonna knot it off by, instead of completing the stitch, I'm gonna put my needle through the hole and then pull tight. That creates one knot. You're gonna do 2 of those. Cut off the excess, create a new knot, and move on to the next one. Once you've got the caged effect and you've created the cage that works for you, I mean, this part comes together really easily because it's very obvious where each detail needs to go. Now, for this larger button, this was like a little applique that I got at a bead store downtown called Bohemian Bead. And basically, again, I don't only want to tack down the center, I also want to tack down a little bit on the right and left so that it stays perfectly level and my bow doesn't like wibble and wobble on me. You're gonna do that with each one. This next button is a smaller little pearl button. I'm just tacking this down as tightly as possible so it won't move. And then next we're getting here into the very top. Now, originally I planned on using a smaller one that was more like the Versace bows, and I actually sewed them on. But after I looked at it, I didn't love the way it looked, and I had these, which are so cool. Not only do they have a little bit of the pearl detail, which ties into some of my other elements, but it's got that cool chain detail, which is really awesome, and these pieces are somehow malleable. So what I was able to do is put it on and actually bend it and round it around my foot. Now, if you don't want to sew it, you could glue it. That is an option. However, I would really recommend sewing it because it's just going to make sure they never pop off. Now, once you do the one heel, and I do recommend doing one full heel first and making all the tweaks on that one, you're gonna apply all of those measurements to the second one. So what I'm doing is I'm measuring my first one, looking at what the measurements are, and then applying those measurements to my second heel. Once I create the caged effect on the second one, again, all I have to do is add on my details. Now, one option for clean finishing your elastic, because it will fray if you don't clean finish it, is either doing that, folding it and sewing it, or put a tiny bit of fabric glue on the tip of your finger and like run it along the edge. That's basically just gonna seam it up, preventing it from fraying, and it'll keep it nice and crisp. Now, this one is done and all I'm doing is adding in the elements. Now remember, this entire thing is really only attached by a couple of places of glue. So if you get over it at a certain point, all you have to do is pull it off and you've got your regular heels back and we're done. Alrighty, that's it. They're amazing. I can't wait to model them for you. I'll show you guys how they work out. They're so fun. Remember, if you guys want to take advantage of the Skillshare Premium free offer, you can click that link below, learn something brand new. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go model and do what I do. I hope you guys like this one. Subscribe if you're brand new. Make sure you click notifications so you hear when I've got a new video. And I will see you beautiful people next week. Mwah. Bye.
I'm just that stupid. Thought that we were meant to be. Yeah, I'm just that stupid. Maybe just a little time can make you change your mind about us. I thought that we were meant to be.